chapter 22, section 1. So let's move on to the Arabian Peninsula. The Arabian Peninsula is located between Africa and Central Asia, and this is where Arabs are going to live. So in the 600s, in the mountainous western part of Arabia called the Hijaz, Islam is going to begin. So let's take a look here at Islam. Islam is an Arabic word that means the act of submitting to the will of God. And the religion of Islam is going to be founded by Muhammad. Muhammad was a Arab merchant, and he was going to be a prophet of Allah. Okay, Allah is the Arabic word for the God. And so the followers of Islam are called Muslims. Okay, so keep that straight. The religion is Islam. The followers of Islam are called Muslims. So let's get to the city of Mecca. Mecca is the largest and the richest of the three major towns in the Hijaz. And Mecca is going to be supported by trade and religion. Traders would stop in Mecca on the way to Constantinople. Okay. Also, you would have pilgrims come to Mecca to worship. Pilgrims are travelers to a religious shrine. And the big religious shrine you're going to be seeing in Mecca was the Kaaba. This is Arabia's holiest shrine. It's in the center of Mecca, and it's this low cube-shaped building surrounded by 360 idols. And there's a black stone in one of the walls. And this black stone is believed to have fallen from paradise. Okay. And nearby, there was a holy well. And the Muslims believe Adam, as in Adam and Eve, built this well. And then it was destroyed. And then Abraham and his son Ishmael rebuilt the well. Originally, it was dedicated to the worship of one God. But later on, people begin filling the Kaaba with idols from different tribes. So this is going to bring us to Muhammad. So Muhammad was born in the year 570 to a widow in Mecca. And Muhammad's mom died when he was 6. And he's going to live with his uncles. By a teenager, he's working as a businessman. And then when he is 25 years old, he's going to marry a rich 40-year-old widow, Khadija. Muhammad was a very successful businessman, but he was troubled by all the drinking and the gambling and the corruption in Mecca. And he's going to spend time alone in a cave outside the city. He went there to think. He fasted while he was there. And he decides that the people of Mecca are led to evil by their belief in these false gods. And he decides there's only one God, Allah. And the God Allah is the same God of the Jews and the Christians. So, Islam, Judaism, Christianity all believe in the same God. In the year 610, Muhammad is going to have a revelation or a vision. He's meditating in the cave, and Gabriel, an angel, is going to appear. And Gabriel orders him to read some writing and told him to preach about God. And Muhammad is going to go home and he's going to tell his wife, Khadija, and she goes to a holy man trying to get some explanation for this. And the holy man said that this visitor, Gabriel, is the same visitor that spoke to Moses and the other prophets, and that Muhammad was going to be a prophet. So in 613, Muhammad begins preaching to the people of Mecca, and he told them there's one God, Allah, and all believers are equal, and the rich should be sharing with the poor. And life is to prepare you for that day of judgment, when dead people will rise from the dead and be judged for their life. And the leaders of Mecca at first laugh at Muhammad. And then the leaders of Mecca begin to feel threatened by Muhammad. They were afraid that the people would quit coming to worship at the Kaaba. Lots of money was spent by pilgrims coming there to worship. And if people quit coming, the economy would be ruined. And the leaders would then lose their power and they wouldn't be rich. And so the leaders begin to persecute Muhammad and his followers. In 620, Muhammad is going to preach to pilgrims from Yathrib. And so they like what he has to say, and they're going to invite him to come and be their leader. And so in 622, Muhammad and several hundred followers, they move. They leave Mecca and they go to Yathrib. And the year 622 is going to be called Anno Hijrah, the year of the migration. This is the first year of the Muslim calendar. Okay, so our 622 is the first year of the Muslim calendar. And Yathrib is going to be renamed. And it's going to be renamed Madinat al-Nabi, the city of the prophet. You'll usually see it referred to as Medina. Muhammad was a good leader in Medina. He united people with his government. Mecca was angry that Muhammad was so successful. And so the army of Mecca is going to invade Medina several times. In 630, Muhammad and his followers peacefully enter Mecca. And Muhammad issues forgiveness to his opposition. And so by the time you get to 632, all of Arabia is Islamic, and they had declared their loyalty to Muhammad. It was also in 632 that Muhammad dies. So, a little bit more here about Islam. The holy book, the Muslim scriptures, are called the Quran. Okay, and sometimes you see it spelled that one way with a Q and one way with a K. These are the Muslim scriptures, and the Muslims believe it is direct word of God given to Muhammad, and they feel they should know it exactly as it's written. It's written in Arabic, and it tells the Muslims how they should live. No pork, no liquor, no gambling. It gives them advice on marriage and divorce and inheritance and business. There are 5 pillars of Islam. Okay, there's 5 duties that the Muslims must follow. So let's go through these 5. The first pillar is the confession of faith. Okay, this is, there is no God but Allah, and Muhammad is his prophet. Okay, so that's the first pillar. The second pillar is prayer. Muslims pray 5 times a day facing Mecca. They pray at dawn, they pray at noon, late afternoon, sunset, and evening. And they can say their prayers anywhere as long as they face Mecca, except for Friday at noon. Friday at noon, they pray at the mosque, their house of worship. Okay, so in Judaism they have temple, in Christianity they have church, in Islam they have a mosque. And at the mosque, the prayer will be led by an imam or a prayer leader. The third pillar is zakah or charity. And Muslims are to give 2.5% of their annual income to charity. The fourth pillar is fasting. And this means no food. And they fast during the daylight hours of Ramadan. Ramadan is the Muslim holy month, okay, the Islamic holy month. And so during the daylight hours of Ramadan, they fast. They don't eat. Now, if you're young, really young, this doesn't apply to you. If you're sick or pregnant or travelers, this doesn't necessarily apply to you. But if you're healthy and ready to go, you fast. And then number 5 is a pilgrimage or a Hajj. All able Muslims must travel to Mecca after Ramadan once in their life. Okay, and that journey is a Hajj. And so in every year, at the end of Ramadan, you will see millions of Muslims travel to Mecca, which this is a picture of. So those are your 5 pillars. So the Quran is going to promise all believers who do these 5 pillars faithfully that they will go to paradise. Paradise, I mean, it's a place of shade and fruit trees and flower gardens and cold springs and singing birds. It's the idea of heaven, but they call it paradise. And if you don't, you'll go to hell, which is a flame-filled pit, and the drinking water is from a salty well, and the food is from a plant that the smell makes you even hungrier, so you eat and it doesn't quench your appetite, as the Quran talks about.